and welcome to ETG's The State of Play, the show where we help cut through the confusion and help you get away on that much needed holiday. I'm Sam, I'm the MD and co-founder of Experience Travel Group, and I'm joined as ever by my colleague Mystic Melissa. Melissa, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. Pleased to see the back of 2021, I guess, and glad that we're sort of getting back to some level of normality again, really.
Yeah, 2022 has got to be much, much better, no doubt about it. So, without further ado, let's go to the 60-second check-in, where Melissa will tell us what's what with travel and holidays in Asia at the moment. Melissa, over to you.
Okay, so to start off with, I thought I'd give a bit of a recap on where's open for travel in Asia. So at the moment, we've got Sri Lanka, Oman and the Maldives all completely open, and we've had lots of people travel with us to all three over the last few weeks. We've also got Thailand, Cambodia and Laos also open, but a couple of things to bear in mind, which we'll no doubt discuss a bit later on. And since the media would have you think that travel news is kind of doom and gloom or a mad scramble for getaways, my headline is that in reality there's a fairly steady stream of people managing to get away on some really great holidays at the moment. And I think when Omicron spiked here in December, we did see a few people get COVID and have to cancel, but pretty much everyone was insured and were able to rebook for a later date. So I just thought that was worth mentioning there. And then finally, the rules for Thailand have changed almost every single time we've done one of these broadcasts, and I really don't think the authorities there are doing themselves any favours, really. But in a nutshell, entry via Bangkok is temporarily off the cards again, but you can enter internationally via Phuket and proceed to one of a choice of various beach locations in the south. So basically, put it simply, you have to start your holiday at a beach destination.
Is no bad thing, is it, ever in Thailand, starting at a beach? So from the check-in to the departure lounge, I thought we would start, Melissa, with your own holiday, because it was an interesting thought process that you went through. You're going to Sri Lanka in February for the half term, aren't you, with the family? Tell us what the thinking was behind that.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'm going, but so we wanted to get away for February half term. Great time of year to get away, get away from the winter. It's also mine and my partner's birthday, so we always like to go away at that time of year. Started off thinking about Thailand, but I decided that really on balance there was too much testing with the children. I think I'd be too worried. Would have loved to go on to the Maldives, but the flights are really busy, everything's booked up, and it's just way out of my budget, to be honest. So Sri Lanka just ticked all the boxes, perfect time to go. Lots to do, bit of wildlife, bit of beach, bit of everything really. So yeah, that's I just came around to thinking Sri Lanka's easy. We just need one PCR test before we go, and then we're kind of free to explore. And there's direct flights as well, so it works really well.
Yeah, so Sri Lanka's fairly straightforward right now, so that's a good bet. You mentioned Cambodia is also open, and Oman, is that right?
Yeah, so Oman, we've had, as I mentioned, quite a few, as with Sri Lanka, we've had a fair few people travel with us there recently, and it's all, gone very smoothly. Oman, like Sri Lanka, PCR test before you go, and Oman's good because, again, direct flight and quite a short flight compared to other destinations that we deal with as well. Good weather, great variety of things to do. Cambodia is the opening there is going pretty well, I believe. Some of the flights in have now been reinstated. That was originally a bit of a problem because you couldn't really get there, and you just need to take a lateral flow on arrival, and then you're pretty much free to go really. And I think we've got our first customers for 2 years heading out to Cambodia in the next few days. Which is a great milestone in the road to normality, I guess.
Yeah, and it's much needed, isn't it? And people think of Cambodia sort of for Angkor Wat, but there's so much more to Cambodia. It really works as a destination in itself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're looking to travel, in the next month or two, then we've got Maldives, Oman, Sri Lanka, Cambodia as good bets. If you're looking to go a bit further afield, what else could you think about?
I think if you're looking to go later in the year, my best guess is that most places are going to open. I think everywhere is going to follow the way the UK have approached things, and I think travel is going to become easier. So you could start looking ahead to the summer. You've got places like Indonesia and Borneo, which have great weather in our summertime. We've heard that Bali is probably going to open fairly soon, with a wider opening of Indonesia later in the year. And then, later in the year, towards the winter, you can start thinking about big trips to places like, I guess, India and Bhutan, and pretty much of all of our destinations, really, especially those once-in-a-lifetime trips for later in the year.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, we've got people really starting to book that, and it's starting to motor. But there are, I think, definitely a few people out there who are just worried about all the uncertainty, and just wondering whether it's actually worth trying to book now. What would you say to them?
Well, there's sort of nothing to lose, really. I mean, you've got this sort of great opportunity to get to these places before they get really busy again, and it's worth booking them before the flights get booked up, and certain sort of once in a lifetime adventures and lodges and places get fully booked. And I think that there's nothing to lose, because there's we've got flexible booking policies, and as we've seen over the Christmas period, travel insurance does cover you if you get COVID, or if there's a problem with COVID. Pretty much all eventualities are now covered. So, there isn't really anything to lose. And I think if you've got something in mind that you really want to do, then get it locked in. It's going to be a good time to travel.
Yeah, and we're pretty biased, but there's nothing like a holiday to look forward to get you through January and February, is there?
Yeah.
Absolutely good. Okay, well, and have we got any tips for anything are likely to happen in Asia? Any countries likely to open soon, or are we just waiting and seeing as Omicron goes?
I think we need to wait and see, how it spikes everywhere. As I mentioned, I think Bali is potentially on the cards. I'm not sure if I mentioned Laos, but Laos recently started to open up again, and I think Thailand, they're going to realise they're missing a trick, and I think it will become easier to go to Thailand in the next few weeks, I guess.
Well, they're nothing if not consistently inconsistent, aren't they? Flip-flopping all over the place. But I saw a news story this morning suggesting that they're actually thinking about reinstating test and release again, so that will
yeah, and of course we haven't mentioned Vietnam, which probably is there's rumours that that's going to open up over the next month or two as well.
Brilliant.
Perhaps not the whole country, but certain locations.
Yeah, awesome. Well, watch this space, and if you want to be the first to know, do sign up to our Raring to Go newsletter, which you should find somewhere around this recording, and we will let you know the first to any news, and we'll keep you updated with these monthly updates. So great to have you listening. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.